right? The defense, if you look at the point differential per game, we're only at a -3 point differential per game. Okay? That's not terrible. If you look at the San Francisco's, and those guys are at double digits. Cleveland's at double digits. So the defense, yeah, it's not clicking all the way because, like you say, we have some critical cogs that are not a part of our defense, right? So we're missing Delvin Breaux. We're missing some like Stephon Anthony. We're missing some guys and Daniel Ellerbe, who hasn't been a part of us the whole season, right? So we're missing some guys who are not there, but these guys are hanging tough. That's the best thing I can say, hanging tough. But we still need a little bit more grit from the guys like Cam Jordan to really, if you have a quarterback in your grasp, you're going to bring him down. You know, he couldn't, letting Cam Newton go and make a play after you had him in your grasp is unacceptable for a guy at his level at this point of his career. Okay. Jarvis Byrd taking poor angles on, you're the safety. And think about that word. You are the last point between you and the offensive player headed toward that end zone. If you as the safety cannot protect the end zone, we have a problem, and I don't know. I was taught when I was young, you don't look at the man running to you. You look at his hips or the waist of the person. And you tackle from that vantage point where the waist is, because these guys are looking at the guy being shifty or whatever. You got to go toward his hips, because that's the most steady point on the person. These guys are going for the legs and reaching for the individuals instead of trying to make a solid tackle on the players. And that's what's frustrating to me, to be able to see a guy who's paid $52 million make simple mistakes that a person in Pop Warner was making. You see? So I just want these guys to do better because I'm a fan, but I know the techniques are not being utilized it could be because of fatigue. It could be just, you just don't know your techniques. It might be that, but it's just difficult to see what's happening on some simple mistakes that occur over and over and over again from guys that we need to step up. We need to have somebody to like Kenny Vaccaro, to keep stepping up, keep being vocal, keep being the one to challenge these guys to make sure that they're going to be better than what they are putting out on the field. Yeah, you had a great first half. Come on, let's finish it with a great second half. It can't just be one half here. We take off and we're going to try to come back and win it in the fourth quarter. It has to be a steady, consistent play from these guys, time and time again. That's the only way we could be able to beat a team like Seattle.
And what you have is, that's the NFL. The coaches are going to have to teach, because Katie said, I'm sure they're teaching them the techniques, but you're going to have to teach the players how to deal with what I call reactionary techniques. Meaning when you react, because some of it is just they're reacting to the play. And when you're reacting in a real time, you forget techniques. Your goal is, I'm just going to try to get them down, however. Versus knowing that in a reactionary moment, I got to use the technique that coach taught me. Okay? And so maybe, as I stated before, no offense, I don't think the message and the techniques teachings that Joe Zitt and Bill Johnson are working. They're just not working anymore. You're going to have to get different people in here with a different message and a different way to convey so that it is retained by the same defensive line, secondary.
For Matt 35.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
that's something that I think that they're going to look at. It's called reactionary techniques to retain the ability. When I'm reacting to a play, I retain my techniques that I've been taught on how to tackle, with angle to take, and all of that. And that's where the things, unfortunately, are failing. That's where they're failing because they're reacting. And at that time of reaction, that's like just in normal life. You react to something, and you may know to do one thing to it, but your reaction supersedes your ability for your brain to think, I got to follow the technique, because you're reacting. So the emotionalism of the reaction overtakes the technique, which is the prudent thing to do. And that's what you have happening there. It's not the ability to retain the technicalities that was taught to you, because the reaction of the emotion of the play has superseded. And so now all you're trying to do is, I'm just going to try to get them down whatever way, not using my technique because I want to just get them down. And that's what the coaches have to reiterate to them. Don't react, but if you're going to react, still retain. Let the technique supersede reaction. Well, what the Saints are doing, the reaction is superseding the techniques that are taught. And that's why you see the play so sloppy, not just with them, but in the NFL. That's why you look at these games, teams could be up by 21 points, the next thing you know, you flip the score, and then when they give you the update, so-and-so has come back from 14 down in the fourth quarter, 17 down.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is because of poor technique.
Poor technique, right.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Reaction versus, thanks, players, listen to this broadcast. Remember this from the professor. Reaction versus your techniques. That the techniques supersede the reaction. Because when you react, you're not going to think. You're just going to react. Whereas the technique is going to make you apply the techniques that coaches taught you. So that's kind of how that goes. I apologize for this other office phone ringing to all of this.
Oh, I thought that was the bell to stop.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap it up real quickly. Special teams, there's nothing to say, although I still think Will Lutz is struggling at some point. I still think that because I don't know if they had to kick a field goal to tie the game. I don't know if he would have made it because the Shank kickoff and the partially blocked extra point that went through, that they're still struggling in that area. And McMahon has got to continue to work with the young fella. There was nothing. As far as Morstead, what else can we say? All pro. Just he's kicking that all pro.
Awesome.
Morstead is just doing an unbelievable job. He's A+++.
Yeah.
And the Saints just have to keep working with Will. Still not getting anything consistently in our punts or kickoffs at all. We're not really doing anything in that area. I think it's time. Tommy Lewis, against the Panthers did well for that one. So, but I still think I would like to see Tommy Lewis implemented in our offense. He has better hands. And I would like to see Marcus Murphy back there with punts because we need some play from our special teams.
And the kickoffs.
And the kickoffs. So we're not getting much there. So my grade for the special teams overall is Morstead is an A+, but overall I give them a really a B- to C+ because still a little shaky with those field goal kicks and those kickoffs. But I know Will Lutz is going to get better, so we don't need to change kickers or any of that. We need to stick with this guy. It's time to bring some consistency and keep the thing solid. This guy has a huge leg, as we saw by the 60-yarder and the 57-yarder. So thank you. Just continue to work with him, and he will improve, okay, with good coaching.
Here's my question for you then, Professor.
Oh, BB,
hey,
what's happening?
Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm really late, guys. We had a game here. It was a conference tournament game, double overtime, went to penalty kicks. I'm just getting back. I was on the air for almost on the air for 2.5 hours, so it was a long game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But here's my question for you. You brought up Marcus Murphy. You bring up the kicking and punting return game and the lack of that. Why has Marcus Murphy been a healthy scratch for, I think, every game but one?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit off air, man.
I think his needs. The Saints have so many injuries at linebacker and so many injuries on the offensive line that they don't really need another running back since Ingram, Hightower, Travaris Cadet, and Daniel Lesko, when he was healthy, were all healthy. I would like to see them do a healthy scratch with Travaris Cadet and put Marcus Murphy in the offense to see what he can do, at least give it a shot. I don't know if they will do that out against Seattle, because I don't think they will. But I would like to see them do that. I think it's just based upon what all do they need with the injuries on the offensive line and the secondary and linebackers. I think it's just there's no room for him right now. As Tommy Lee Lewis at least plays in the passing game. And so that's just what I'm thinking. But I don't know what happened that caused Marcus Murphy to lose his job. I think Colin brought up some points earlier in the show, but it was not to me, after one game, just to, scratch it.
Well,
so I don't know.
Well, you listen to Coach Payton, Professor, and he said that he didn't like the fact that Murphy allowed the ball to hit the ground before picking up the ball to run a punt back and a kickoff back in the Raiders game, if I'm not mistaken. Or I just don't think Coach has the confidence that Murphy is going to hold on to the ball as well. So you look at those combination of factors, and we all know that Sean Payton, once you get into his doghouse, it's very difficult for you to get out of his doghouse. So that in combination, Brendan, with, like Professor said, we have so many different injuries that the needs to be able to have somebody on the offensive lines or to be able to take certain spots made more sense. But would that not make any sense to me? And it's unfortunate that Lampkin is going to be lost for the year with that knee injury. He was promoted from the practice squad to the active squad to be on special teams. Well, why couldn't that spot be utilized by Marcus Murphy? That's what's kind of weird to me in just doing a quick evaluation of the team. So when you asked a very good question, and hopefully he could be able to see some action against the Seahawks, because I think we need to see a little bit more of a consistent average on these kickoff returns and punt returns. Even though Tommy Lee had one good game, but it's still inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know if Marcus is going to play with Seattle, because Daniel Lesko is supposed to be back, and if Daniel Lesko is back, he plays on special teams and Marcus Murphy doesn't. I don't know if Marcus will be active this game unless they do an activation on Travaris Cadet, because really Marcus Murphy's role now is a backup to Ingram and Travaris Cadet in the passing game. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll be keeping an eye on that, because it's puzzling to me. It's puzzling because you need playmakers. You need someone that can give you a spark. And Tommy Lee Lewis did it recently, so we just have to keep an eye on it. It's very puzzling, but he hasn't cut him or anything, so I'm happy about that. So let's hope something transitions where the young fella gets an opportunity. In terms of coaching, the Kansas City game, I thought that the Saints, in terms of Coach Payton, Coach Allen, besides the two plays, I thought the Saints defense did an outstanding job. 13 points were given away cheaply, and to hold the Chiefs to, really 14 points or at maximum 17, that's outstanding, especially playing in their stadium. Offensively wise, play calling, the Saints with that in between the first half and the second half with the 5 empty drives, and that was a bothersome to me that they stalled so many drives. So in terms of Pete Carmichael and Coach Payton play calling and what have you, I thought on that first down where Mark Ingram fumbled, right when they got up to this is time they need to throw the ball. First down, they got Mark Ingram, fool them, don't run it, throw it. I remember sitting there saying throw it on first down. Going, down here, throw it. I said, throw it on first down, then come back with the run. But they did the run. And so some of the play calling I thought was, I didn't like, but it wasn't a bad play calling for the